hard-fought win over the NFC leading 49ers as Justin Tucker nailed a last-second field goal in the rain. Lamar Jackson became the first QB with 4 100-yard rushing performances in a single season, finishing with both a running and throwing TD. Both of San Francisco's losses this year have been courtesy of buzzer-beating field goals. And after the loss, Kyle Shanahan was hopeful that his squad would get another shot at Lamar and the Ravens. So, Eric, was that a Super Bowl preview?
Let's put it like this. That was a really good football game by two really good football teams. I think that's the kind of game you expect out of both teams. It's almost, and you look like, I think when they played in Super Bowl in 2013, it's almost a flip-flop. The Ravens was that defense with a great defense. They had Joe Flacco, and 49ers had Kaepernick. Now it's like Kaepernick, which is Lamar Jackson, which is with the Baltimore Ravens. Yep. It's almost like a flip-flop. But I think the big thing is that the guy who's the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, was with Kaepernick.
And that's so
now
true.
He's with Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So, and Lamar, to me, is better than Kaepernick. I mean, he's faster. You know, I think that Roman will bring him along very, very good. I think they built that offense around him to bring him on, that run first, you know, throw second, play great defense. Special teams is great. These are two very good football teams. But I'm going to say that to say this. Don't sleep on the Saints. The Saints are a dangerous football team, especially in the dome. Yeah. Especially at home. They're different on grass, but, you know, these are two really good football teams. But anybody has to go to New Orleans to play, I can tell you firsthand. You know, my Rams, we snuck one last year. We snuck one last year.
At least he admitted
First time didn't go so well.
We snuck, right? First time it goes, we snuck one. But I'm serious. These are two good football teams, but don't sleep on the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, the Ravens definitely look like the best team in the AFC, Skip. But for me, if I had to say the 49ers, I would always take the Saints and the Seahawks because I trust their quarterbacks. And it's funny because if the Seahawks win tonight, they're the 2 seed. 49ers, which has been the number 1 seed for the longest, they would go all the way down to the 3 because the Saints would be number 2 because the Saints went to Seattle and beat them without Drew Brees when they had Teddy Bridgewater. So that's how far they would take a tumble if Seattle were to win this game tonight. I love the Ravens. I love the Ravens because Lamar Jackson is playing unbelievable, Skip. His ability, because they're always, normally, you're like, okay, this is what they're going to do. We can hold them. If we can get off the field on 3rd down, 4th and 3, they're going to punt the ball. Baltimore is not punting the ball. They get that ball to the 45-yard line, they going for it. And so it puts so much pressure, and you got to be perfect every time. When you play this kind of zone read, this read option, Skip, you must be perfect. If your job is to take the dive back, take the dive back. If your job is to take the quarterback, take the quarterback. We saw so many times yesterday the end crashing down, trying to make a play that's not his, and Lamar Jackson is spilling around the outside edge. And because they run the ball, you mentioned that last drive, Skip, he took all the time off the clock.
6:28.
He ate up all the clock. So your possessions would be minimal. It puts so much pressure on you to do things when you have the ball. Because it's not like, oh, our defense going to get us the ball right back. We're going to be good. No. He goes 6 minutes, he goes 7 minutes, he goes 8 minutes because they can run the ball. And next thing you know, you've gotten 3, 4 fewer possessions in a game than you would normally get. So I like the Ravens, but for me, out of the NFC, Skip, I would take Seattle or the Saints because I trust Drew Brees and the Russell Wilson way more than I trust Jimmy Garoppolo. I believe Jimmy would be the weak link, would be ultimately what would keep them from reaching their final destination.
So, once again, I have never, ever seen anything like Lamar Jackson. But I'm going to hang in with that old-ass man up in New England.
That
says
guy?
Eric Dickerson.
You go, okay. I'll tell you, compared to these young guys.
But they need some help now. And I'm going to have to hope
Buffalo?
that they get help from Buffalo. And maybe I'm being a prisoner of the Thanksgiving evening moment because I just saw Buffalo 2 up close and 2 personal. That's a good football team.
They are.
And that quarterback is starting to figure it out. And I like everything about them. I like their secondary. I like their pass rush. I think at home, that's going to be a hard game for Baltimore to get back up for and win. If anybody can go up there and win, this young man can do it.
John Harbaugh have them ready to play.
And yet I see another trap door for them in 2 more weeks at Cleveland. I don't know what it is about Baker Mayfield. He has had their number. Last year and this year, he had their number because he beat them in overtime. That was a Flacco game. It's 12-9, but he beat him in overtime with some big throws in overtime.
Right.
And then he went to Baltimore and gave Lamar all he wanted. It was 26-24, but Baker had 376 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. He also threw 3 to the Ravens, which leveled the playing field.
We were talking about this. We talking about the Cowboys losing. We talking about the Eagles losing. What about Baltimore losing to Cleveland?
Okay, so at home this year, they lost 40-25, and Baker had his one big moment in the sun.
Yep.
And this could be a last hurrah game, second to last game on December 22nd. It's an afternoon game at Cleveland. It could be that team fighting for what's left of its pride and
Freddie K's job.
They'd fight for his job.
So true.
And I could see one last hurrah. I could just see them winning that game. So it's going to take those 2 upset wins by the 2 home teams, Buffalo and Cleveland, to put Brady back in the driver's seat. Because I don't know if they can beat Kansas City, because Kansas City is much better than they were a year ago, especially on defense.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I think the thing that happened yesterday is they raced out to that big lead and exposed Derek Carr, because you and I both don't think I'm still out on Derek Carr. But they raced to the big lead and they were able to play from ahead, and so that turned But Josh Jacobs if you lose 40-9, and Josh Jacobs still was well over 100 yards.
Yeah.
So that
all the numbers said that Oakland won the game, but the score said way the opposite.
It did.
Just like up in Houston last night. All the numbers said, but we won the game.
That was like landslide numbers on that game.
No, it wasn't no landslide.
Okay, so in the NFC, if in fact the Philadelphia Eagles hand their invitation to the party to the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not writing the Cowboys off if they just get their foot in the tournament door,
it's
the
over,
postseason door. Yeah, I don't know.
Y'all can't beat Drew Brees or Russ.
But I still say it's pretty wide open, because now remember, the 49ers have to go to New Orleans and they have to play the Rams and then finish at the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to lose a couple more games, right?
They could.
Okay? And I'm with you. If I had to bet right here, right now on a team, I would bet on the Saints. They went 5-0 for Teddy Bridgewater. That's a really good football team.
Yeah, that's a really good football. But, right now is the time, people ask, who's your Super Bowl predictions when the season starts? Well, you don't know. I always say, give me around week 9 or 10. We're past week 9 or 10. It's that time now. You look at teams now, you can tell who's playing very good football. I have to say, my Rams, we played a good football game yesterday, but we played a team it's a weak football team. That's how you're supposed to beat a football team. You look at Baltimore, you look at San Francisco yesterday. They played a very good, they played good football. The Saints playing good football. The Seahawks are playing good football. This is the time when you say, okay, these teams are making a run for the playoffs.
Okay, so right now, your gut tells you Saints, Baltimore?
I would say Saints, Baltimore. Wow. I just don't want to see the 49ers there. I just can't.
You already know who I don't want to see there. It ain't going to be I don't want to see
the Cowboys.
I don't even worry about that.
Hey, we ain't worried about that.
These glasses ain't got that kind of prescription. I can't see that good. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be something if if we were down in Miami for Super Bowl week on Fox and it was New England, Dallas?
I don't know.
Let me ask you this.
After what we just saw.
Let's say the Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Would they keep him? Would they keep Jason?
Would they keep him?
They'd have to keep him.
Would they keep him there?
I mean,
that'd be your
Gary
worst.
Give him a raise.
That'd be your worst. That'd be your worst nightmare.
You know what? For a trip to Miami, I would take it.
You wouldn't care.
Hold on. You've been fighting. You done fired a man like 50 times. 2013.
But if they get
you
to
give
Miami,
me a Super Bowl trip?
This guy's fine.
Oh, I'm good.
You might endorse him.
What if they
I might ask him to come live with me.
No. Do I get PTO that time?
No.
I'm going to get my Kawhi paper.
No PTO when we're in Miami.
Man,
we are going for the Super Bowl.
Do you know how annoying those delusional Cowboys
Oh, my God. We've been talking about it. Look, that's possible. That could happen.
That could happen.
No.
See, look at his face. Look at his face. There's a man last week said, I'm done. I'm D-O-N. I'm D-W-N. However you spell done so many different ways. I didn't know how you could spell it.
I know. But the heavens opened yesterday. Thank you, Eagles.
And the Eagles about to walk right here.
Someone else is Dunner.
Cry, Eagles, cry.
You bragging again. See, every time you do that.
It's not even a couple days since
Why,
then.
Eagles, why? Why did you do that?
Okay.
I don't know.
Trubisky going to throw for about 300
He might. He just might.
No way.
It's okay.
Eagles.
Yeah.
See about the weather.
We'll see you in
Maybe
Philadelphia.
they'll practice, how are they going to get ready for the elements? They need to get outside. Dallas.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody
Need some
tell Jason
rain.
Garrett
Run the
this week
football.
that they're playing
Do
at
something
Chicago at night.
to
Run the
emulate
football.
the system.
See, you need to actually prepare for nighttime in Chicago
Yep,
in December.
you probably want to practice a couple of
Maybe you
games
should go
outside at night.
Yeah. Maybe you should wet down the ball a little
Run the
bit.
football.
Do they have, hold on, Skip? Do they have an outdoor facility?
Yeah.
They do,
Cowboys,
right?
yeah.
They do.
Just
They
cause.
have an indoor
Just
facility.
I know
We're not
that,
doing it.
that's what they spend most of the time because that's their home stadium.
You know that.
But it's gonna be interesting.
Okay.
Come on, Chicago.
Have to be bundled. Eric, so good to have you.
Thank you.
Always nice to have you with us. Guys, LeBron and the Lakers.
Ooh,
There was
here
a
we
bit
go.
of a collapse yesterday. I unfortunately was at the game.
Oh,
and left
back.
early.
Oh.
Don't
We
go
will
back.
discuss all of that next.
Slap rock.